welcome back. I've been on a bit of a Creepshow kick lately, digging through the episodes and really appreciating just how much weird, grim creativity went into these stories. There's something about the way it blends old school horror with comic book flair, and just the right pinch of dark comedy that keeps pulling me back. Honestly, the more I watch, the more I find myself hoping Shudder does another season. If you're into this kind of content and want more horror recaps, breakdowns, and deep dives, oh, and gaming videos, I've got hundreds of them. I want to say north of 400 gaming videos, mostly horror, with a healthy dose of comedy thrown in. So if you'd like to watch me scream like a little girl while something chases me down a hallway, feel free to subscribe. It lets me know I'm not just grumbling into the void. Oh, and if you want to watch these episodes in their entirety, I'll put links in the description below. Our first story is simply titled Skincrawlers, from Season 1, Episode 6, originally airing on Halloween night of 2019, written by Paul Dini, who's mostly known for Batman the Animated Series and the Arkham video game series. The episode opens with an infomercial for a revolutionary weight loss program called Skin Deep by Sloan, which promises rapid and effortless weight loss without the need for dieting or exercise. The spokesperson, Dr. Herbert Sloan, claims to have discovered a rare species of leech-like creatures from a South American reservoir. These creatures, when attached to the human body, consume excess fat, leading to immediate and significant weight loss. Think of them like Ozempic, on steroids, and their fourth pot of coffee. The story introduces Henry Quayle, a middle-aged man struggling with his weight. He watches the infomercial skeptically. During a consultation at Dr. Sloan's clinic, he meets the doctor in person. Despite Dr. Sloan's confident assurances and the glowing testimonials from other patients, Henry remains uncomfortable with the idea of having a leech-like creature attached to his body to suck away the fat.
What is that?
Dr. Sloan, ever the salesman, emphasizes the procedure's safety, claiming the treatment is an FDA approved and has been tested thoroughly. He reassures Henry that the leeches are perfectly harmless and won't cause any issues. However, Henry is still unconvinced and declines the offer to undergo the procedure. A few weeks later, Henry runs into Kelly, a woman he met during the consultation, who has now undergone the procedure and offers to share how her experience went. She boasts about her dramatic weight loss, having shed a substantial amount of weight after using Dr. Sloan's treatment. Kelly, glowing with newfound confidence, invites Henry to join her and Dr. Sloan on a live morning television show called AM America, where they will demonstrate the effectiveness of the procedure. Tempted by Kelly's transformation and the promise of a new life, Henry agrees to join them on the show, though he is still a little hesitant about the procedure. On the day of the broadcast, the studio is buzzing with excitement, and there's also a solar eclipse happening. As the show progresses, Henry begins to feel uneasy. The atmosphere becomes tense when Kelly, who had undergone the treatment, starts to experience severe discomfort. The leech inside her begins to react to something in the environment. Soon, a grotesque creature emerges from Kelly's eye in a gruesome and horrifying spectacle. Panic quickly spreads as the other patients who underwent the procedure experience similar violent reactions, with leeches bursting out of their bodies in grotesque, horror-filled moments. The studio quickly descends into chaos, with the once friendly, slimmed-down patients turning into victims of their own quick-fix weight loss treatment. Dr. Sloan, who is horrified by the unforeseen consequences of his treatment. Sloan admits that while the leeches were tested extensively, the effects of a solar eclipse were never considered. As they speak, a massive leech bursts from Sloan's body, attacking Henry. In a desperate struggle, Henry manages to crush the creature with a vending machine, ending the immediate threat. The episode concludes with Henry enjoying a candy bar, symbolizing his rejection of dangerous quick-fix solutions and embracing self-acceptance. Skincrawlers blends over-the-top body horror with real-world commentary, presenting a disturbingly relatable story. Beneath the slimy creatures and overblown violence, the story skewers our obsession with instant gratification, whether it be via miracle diets, cosmetic shortcuts, or chasing some ideal version of ourselves, regardless of the cost. The leech-like creatures aren't just monsters. They're stand-ins for everything predatory about the health and beauty industry. And the fact that this tale comes from a personal place, rooted in the writer's own struggles with weight loss and their issues with their personal body image, gives it a real spine beneath all the exploding heads. Dana Gould's everyman character lets the audience live out their worst-case scenario fantasy of being the only person in the room who says, maybe this isn't a good idea. It's gross, it's funny, it's weird, but it's also weirdly thoughtful. And that's the magic of Creepshow. It's a miracle cure served with a smile and extra helping of blood and guts. In our second episode, we have a story titled House of the Head from Season 1, Episode 1. This is actually the second story of the very first episode. Evie, a young girl with a vivid imagination, cherishes her intricately detailed dollhouse, a recent gift from her parents. Inside, she has arranged a miniature family, the Smiths, consisting of a mother, father, their son Ethan, and their dog Dane. Evie meticulously maintains the dollhouse, treating it a living space for her figurines. However, her routine is disrupted when she returns from school one day to find the dolls repositioned and a new, unsettling addition, a severed, decaying head. Disturbed, Evie questions the head, asking, "Who are you?" She hadn't placed it there, and its presence is both inexplicable and menacing. As she observes, the head seems to move on its own, appearing in different rooms whenever she's not looking. The Smiths' positions also change, often depicting scenes of fear or distress, suggesting that the head is terrorizing them. And the scenes in the dollhouse become increasingly more and more disturbing. Seeking to protect her beloved doll family, Evie visits Mr. Ogman's shop, where the dollhouse was purchased. She acquires a police officer figurine, hoping it will restore order. Upon placing the officer in the dollhouse, she initially finds the Smiths gathered peacefully, seemingly praying. However, the tranquility is short-lived. Later, Evie discovers the officer decapitated at the base of the attic stairs, with the Smiths looking on in horror. The severed head reappears, now in the bathroom. Determined to combat the malevolent force, Evie returns to Mr. Ogman's shop, seeking a spiritual figure, a priest or rabbi, but settles for a Native American figurine, believing it might possess protective qualities. She places it in the dollhouse, hoping it will confront the evil. Initially, the Smiths seem to welcome the new figure. However, the next time Evie checks, she finds the Native American doll also decapitated, and the Smiths' heads missing as well. The head's influence is growing, and Evie's interventions prove futile. In a moment of desperation, Evie removes the head from the dollhouse and throws it across her room. Realizing the potential danger of having it loose, she searches for it and finds it under her bed, now grown to human size. Terrified, she places it back into the dollhouse, where it returns to its miniature form. Recognizing that she cannot contain or defeat the evil, Evie decides to part with the dollhouse, selling it at a yard sale. As she watches it being taken away, her demeanor is somber, the experience having left her visibly traumatized. House of the Head might be one of the most effective exercises in restraint that Creepshow has ever pulled off. In a series known for its gory set pieces and bombastic monsters, this one dares to keep things almost entirely off screen, and somehow ends up being more unnerving because of it. The tension is psychological, slowly building like a ghost story told around a campfire, and the camera never cheats. Everything we see through Evie's eyes. That alone gives the episode a rare authenticity, thanks in large part to Kaylee Fleming's grounded and believable performance. The dollhouse setup also gives it a surreal, dreamlike quality, like something a child would make up, only too well structured to be random imagination. And then there are the layers of meta-horror, a haunted house within a house, tiny figures being rearranged without explanation, along with the head becoming full-sized when it's removed from the dollhouse. The implication being that if it remains, the young girl and her family will suffer the same fate as the Smiths. This isn't just a spooky tale. It's a meditation on innocence, powerlessness, and the creeping dread that something may be wrong in your world and you can't fix it. It's slow, it's eerie, and it lingers. And that's why it works so well. Which is why this story is a great example of putting your best foot forward. Starting off Creepshow with a haunting tale, created to send shivers down your spine, and it succeeds in leaving a lasting impression. It puts itself ahead of the curve. Our final story of the video is from a story titled Public Television of the Dead, from Season 2, Episode 1. Originally airing on April Fool's Day of 2021, the episode begins at WQPS, a public television station in Pittsburgh. Mrs. Bookberry, the host of Mrs. Bookberry's Magical Library, is filming a segment where she reads to children alongside her puppet, Henrietta. Off-camera, Bookberry reveals her true nature as a foul-mouthed, arrogant, and racist individual. She confronts Claudia Aberlin, the station's director of network programming, demanding a more favorable time slot. Bookberry threatens to report Claudia to higher-ups, questioning her competence. Under pressure, Claudia decides to cancel the Love of Painting with Norm Roberts to accommodate Bookberry's demands. Norm Roberts, a soft-spoken artist and Vietnam veteran, is informed about his show's cancellation. He accepts the news with grace, though it's evident that the show was his solace from past traumas. George, Norm's producer, expresses concern to Claudia, emphasizing the importance of the show to Norm's well-being. Meanwhile, in another studio, The Appraiser's Road Trip is being filmed. Host Goodman Tapert welcomes guest Ted Ramey, who brings an ancient book for appraisal. Ted reveals that the book, the Necronomicon, has been in his family for years. Despite Ted's warnings, Goodman unlocks the book using a special key and begins reading its incantations aloud. This act unleashes a dark force, transforming Ted into a deadite. Ted attacks Goodman, stabbing him with the book's key, leading to Goodman's possession. Back in Norm's studio, he is filming what he believes to be his final episode. Suddenly, the possessed Ted bursts in and attacks George. Norm intervenes, stabbing Ted in the head with a paintbrush and setting his face on fire using paint thinner and a lighter. Believing Ted to be neutralized, Norm, Claudia, and George decide to escape through the magical library set. In her dressing room, Bookberry is drinking heavily when Henrietta speaks to her in her father's voice, berating her.
Fuck it up, which you probably will, you ugly little bitch!
A burned and possessed Ted enters, killing Bookberry and transforming her into a deadite. Norm, Claudia, and George discover several dead crew members on the set of The Appraiser's Road Trip. In the control room, they review footage showing Goodman reading aloud from the Necronomicon. They realize that to stop the chaos, they must retrieve and secure the book. Goodman, now a deadite, appears with the Necronomicon. George uses audio feedback to subdue him temporarily, but Goodman escapes with the book. The station's broadcast switches to a live episode of Mrs. Bookberry's Magical Library, where the possessed Bookberry reads from the Necronomicon, with Ted and Goodman filming. Norm, Claudia, and George arm themselves with props from the Appraiser's Road Trip set and confront the deadites. Claudia decapitates Bookberry with a broadsword, but Henrietta continues reading. Norm retrieves the key from Goodman's head, kicks Henrietta off the set, and locks the Necronomicon, halting the spread of evil. Weeks later, The Love of Painting is back on air. Claudia informs George that the Chicago affiliate wants to take Norm's show national, interpreting the previous chaos as a publicity stunt. However, two children watching the broadcast are shown with white, dead-eyed eyes, suggesting that the evil wasn't entirely vanquished. Public Television of the Dead. This one is pure love letter territory, and it knows exactly what it's doing. Public Television of the Dead is a brilliant, bloody collision between 1980s horror excess and the wholesome weirdness of vintage public TV. It's almost like someone dared Creepshow to do Evil Dead fanfiction, and they not only delivered, they cranked the chainsaw all the way to 11. Ted Ramey appearing as himself is the connective tissue that turns what could have been parody into a genuine homage. The idea that the Necronomicon shows up at an Antiques Roadshow style taping and unleashes chaos is ridiculous. But that's what makes it genius. From the Bob Ross-like character going full Ash Williams to the over-the-top practical effects that would make Tom Savini proud, it's an ode to two classic properties. And it's wonderful. Everything here is tuned to hit the horror nostalgia button hard. But it's not just fan service. It's lovingly crafted horror comedy, full of detail and intention. This segment is for the fans who grew up taping Evil Dead from late-night cable, then watched Mr. Rogers the next morning before school. It's insane, affectionate, and absolutely on brand for what Creepshow does best, honoring horror history while gleefully flipping it on its head.
Like, how did he not feel that thing growing inside of him? That's just... Oh, I was getting some head, getting some... See, I wonder if the Native American action figure, or it's not an action figure, it's a figurine. I wonder if that's based on Old Chief Woodenhead. Because, I mean, it's similar in stance-wise, but it doesn't look the same. It doesn't look like a miniature version of that statue from the beginning of the movie. Oh, I hope something useful comes from these notes. I love how this guy's like a stand-in for Bob Ross. We're gonna put another bush there because everybody needs a friend. Why am I doing this at 3 o'clock in the morning?